friends, welcome to Moms and Money, where we talk about managing money, making money, and saving money for the women in the household. And today, my friends, we are talking about budgeting. Maybe you click this video because when you hear the word budget, you start to scream a little bit inside. Or maybe you get nervous, or your palms get sweaty, or it's just something that you just keep putting off because you feel intimidated or overwhelmed. So if you feel like this video is for you. But I want to encourage you, the word budget does not have to be scary. It's not a bad thing, and it's something that we all need, no matter how much money you make. It doesn't mean you're broke, it doesn't mean you're poor, it just means that you know how to manage your money well. And there's a reason why every single corporation in America has a budget, because it works and it's needed. And you need to treat your own personal finances that same way. The word budget, all it means is you telling your money where you want it to go. That's it in its simplest form. It doesn't have to be really dramatic or overwhelming or really in depth, but at the end of the day, you're just telling your money where you want it to go. Of course, you can get as deep as you want to. I mean, I personally love budgeting. I love numbers, so I'm in my Excel spreadsheet almost daily. Now, a couple of years ago on my other channel, Marriage and Motherhood, I made a very detailed video about how we create our budget in Excel, all about sinking funds, paying off your debt, making extra payments, and all of that. And it's been very successful for me. A lot of people watched the video. A lot of people have downloaded my free zero-based budget, which by the way is in the description box if you want to give it a try. But on the other hand, I know there are a lot of people who feel intimidated by that, who maybe don't have Excel or aren't as comfortable in Excel, who don't want to use Excel, and they want to just budget the old school way with a pen and paper, and there is nothing wrong with that at all. So I created these printables, this budgeting bundle printables. With the printables, you can budget by month, your annual budget, you can track your cash envelopes, all of your sinking funds, your emergency funds, all of that. But in today's video, I'm only going to be focusing on what I feel are the most important elements of a good budget. So let's head over and see how they work. All right, so before we get started, what I want you to do is I want you to either pull up your online banking and print out your bank statements, or if you have the physical paper of your bank statements, pull that up too, so you could at least get an idea of what your expenses are. And if you don't know or have everything, don't worry about it, it's okay. We are just beginning, and as you get better at this and get more comfortable with it, you will become better and better. This is only a guide, okay? I want you to eventually just develop a budgeting system that works for you, okay? Whatever that is. I mean, there's no system that's absolutely perfect. Everybody tweaks it so that it works for themselves. Whether you download the Excel template and tweak it and change it if you want to. You can add to this, you can create your own sheet. You definitely don't need to have to download this. You could definitely create your own sheets. So don't feel like you have to do everything that I'm saying, because obviously that's not the case. But you do need to know, what your income is and what your expenses are at the end of the day. And before you plan on, paying off your debt and becoming debt free, and as glorious as that is, you have to get your budget together first before you can even start creating a debt repayment plan or anything like that. So I'm just gonna show you basically what I feel is the most important when it comes to a budget. And that is your monthly budget and an annual budget. To me, these two components are the most important. And most people just overlook an annual budget and feel like, that's not needed. But at the end of the day, an annual budget allows you to really see how far you've come. It allows you to see what areas of improvement can be improved upon. And it allows you to make better goals for yourself and really push yourself more for the following year. And it's great to have all of this data. I mean, I've been doing budgeting like this for my husband and I since 2011. And I love to go back and look to see how far we've grown financially as a couple, because then it motivates you to just continue on. In my budgeting bundle printable, which by the way, if you're interested, there's a link for it down below. It's over 20 pages included in there. But today, we're only focusing on budgeting. I will do a separate video about sinking funds, emergency funds, and all of that. But to me, the most important is to get this down first. So let's talk about the monthly budget. And if it intimidates you to do a monthly budget first, I know a lot of people do a bi-weekly budget, and I have a printable for that. They do a budget by paycheck, and they have a printable for that. As a matter of fact, the budget by paycheck is the exact same as the monthly budget, except for you have your paycheck date and then the checks remaining in the month. So you'll have several of these in one month as opposed to one. But again, whatever you feel comfortable with, just go with that. I'm gonna start with a monthly budget, okay? Now, obviously, you can fill this out the way you want to, but let's just go over each section. So obviously it's January, and I'm going to totally make these numbers up, you know, as I do this. So you put the month here, and then you have all of your income. Now I want you to list every income that you get for the month of January that you're expected to get by paycheck, whether you get paid twice a month, some people get paid once a month, some people get paid every other week. However you get paid, and whatever you're expecting for that month gets listed here, okay? As well as the date. And the budget section here is what you're expected to receive in that check. Now, I know some of us don't know how much you're gonna get paid, and you get paid, you know, infrequently, or you don't get paid, you know, you're not salary or hourly or anything like that. If you don't know, I want you to make a best educated guess. Now, this is where you look at your bank statements and take an estimate or an average of what you made every single month, and that is what you need to budget for the month. And then you have a listing of actual, that is what you actually got paid for the month. As you get paid, as the month progresses, you're gonna fill this part in with what you actually got paid, and right here where it says diff, that is the difference between the two. Let's say you have paycheck 1, my handwriting's horrible, we'll just say paycheck 2, overtime, and bonus. I'm just guessing right now. And you fill in the dates here. Let's see, you get paid on the 1st, you get paid on the 15th, you got overtime with the 15th. Like I said, however many separate checks or incomes come in, that's what you're gonna put in. And you get your bonus on the 23rd. I'm totally guessing at any of this. And you're going to budget, you know, $1,000, and then 500 in overtime, and then no bonus this month. But what you actually got was 1,100, and then 900, and then, you know, 600, and then you got a $200 bonus, okay? And so what you would do is you would total these. So this would be 2,500 for the budget. The actual, hold on, let me get my calculator, girl, because I cannot add in my brain. What you actually got was 2,800. So there's a difference of $100 difference plus here. There's a minus $100 difference here. There is a plus $100 difference here, and there is a plus $200 difference here. Okay, so the difference altogether is plus $300. So that is an extra $300 that you get to account for within your income. I don't think I explained this earlier, but the goal of your budget is to have a zero-based budget, meaning every single time, every penny that you earn, you give it a job, you give it a name. So this $300 isn't just gonna stay floating in your bank account. You could transfer this $300 to your savings account. You can transfer this $300 to a sinking fund. You could transfer for this $300 to an extra payment on something. But whatever, you're going to do something with that $300. It isn't just going to be sitting in your bank account. Now, here's where you list all your expenses. So maybe you have cable and a mortgage and cell phone. My handwriting's horrible, guys, sorry. You have gas, electricity, groceries, and so on and so forth. Okay, you're gonna fill all of that out here. Fill it in the date, the due date, what you're budgeting for. And now if you're just starting out, you probably feel like, well, I have no idea what I pay for cable, or maybe you don't know what you pay for your cell phone. Whatever you don't know, obviously if you have these things, you've been paying for it. That's why you need to look at either your online banking or your bank statements to see exactly how much you pay for these things. And if it changes every single month, you want to take about what the average is per month that you pay for these things. Now, sometimes your electricity bill goes up in the summertime. I know for us it does. And then in the wintertime, it goes down because we're not running our AC as much. So depending on what month this is for you, since this is wintertime, our electricity bill in January is not as high as it usually is. So I would look back on last year's bank statement. You can pull it up online to see how much you spent on your electricity. Now groceries, that's another thing. It can go, you know, either way for us. Right now, my budget is $400. I took $400 out of the bank, so I know that that is going to be what I spend, which is $400 because I'm using cash for that. But I'll explain more in detail about that come when I talk about cash envelopes. But whatever you think you're going to spend on these things, you're gonna list them here, same idea. Then as you're paying these bills throughout the month, you're going to put what you actually spent, and then again, the difference, the same with how we did over here. Then after you add all of that up, let's say there's a difference of $100, meaning that you budgeted for $100 more than what you actually spent, okay? Because these numbers are gonna be different for you depending on, your household. I can't guess, what they're gonna be, but let's just say after you added all of the differences up, okay, like we did here, 100 minus 100 plus 100 plus 200 equals $300 surplus, which is good. You're in the black, okay? And then here you have $100 surplus, meaning you budgeted for a certain amount. Let's say like you budgeted $2,000 total for all your expenses, but you ended up only spending $1,900. So the difference is $100 surplus, okay? Now this section here with sinking funds, I don't want you to focus on that as a beginner, because at the end of the day, you just want to get your debits and your credits. I'm going old school accounting together. You want to get your income together and your expenses together. Everything that comes in, you want to account for, and everything that goes out, you want to account for. So you're going to put everything on here. If you're saving right now, if you like to transfer a certain amount of money in your savings account, then go ahead and put that down as an expense, like, because it's money that's coming out of your checking account into your savings account. Put that down as an expense until we get our sinking funds together. But for those who are ready to talk about sinking funds, all they are mini savings accounts that you list here, the date, what you want to budget, how much you want to put into your sinking funds, how much you actually put in your sinking funds, and the difference. But again, I'm going to go into detail about sinking funds. I love sinking funds. Sinking funds are what keep your finances healthy, okay? They keep you out of debt when you plan for the correct sinking funds. But again, this is a beginner budget, so don't worry about that. In this section down here, what you're gonna put is what you totaled for the budget. Let's see, our total income, we guessed, was gonna be $2,500. Our total expenses, the budget was $2,000. We don't have anything for sinking funds right now. So our total remaining amount is $500 in excess. Okay, what actually happened was our income was $2,800 and our expenses was $1,900. We don't have any sinking funds. We have an excess of $900 for the month. That's huge. So it's 300 here and it's 100 here. So what we have here is we had a $500, we estimated that we were going to have an extra $500 this month, but what actually happened is we had an extra $900 this month. So that means, and you can put your notes here, like you had an unexpected bonus, because when you look back at this, you won't be able to remember, okay, well this was, why did we have an excess of $900 this month? Oh, I remember we had a bonus here. So you can write down and try to understand what's going on with this, with your budget, so that you know going forward. And you can put this in your budget binder or whatever you want to keep. You could keep it in just like a plain folder. You don't even have to go out and buy a binder. You can keep it in a plain folder. But at the end of the day, you want to track your funds. That's all we're doing. When we reconcile it, we're just understanding what this means, why we have this extra money, and what we can do with this extra money, because had you not budgeted, you would not have known that you had an extra $900 that can be paid towards your debt, that can go towards a sinking fund, it can go towards an emergency fund, all of that. That is the basics of a budget, okay? Now, the other component that I'm gonna go over is an annual budget. Okay, now you can print this out either vertically or horizontally to fit in a binder or in a folder, whatever you're comfortable with. What I just did for the month of January, you're going to put in your actuals, okay? So from here, the income that you actually made for the entire month for each line is a total of $2,800 here, okay? So you would just total this. You put total 2,800. Then you would list out your expenses for the month. Whatever you put here, you're going to put here. And what you actually spent for the month of January Remember, we totaled that to be $1,900. I really should have wrote this up here. Hold on, let me white that out. Whiteout is your friend. So if we totaled that here and then 1,900, and then you would have a difference here of $900. So you would do this every single month. And then for the budget part, I want you to estimate how much money you're going to make. So if your salary, this is pretty easy. It's whatever your salary is. I'm not talking about how much the company actually pays you. I'm talking about your paycheck that you receive in your bank account after the taxes are deducted, after your health care and 401k is deducted, the actual dollar amount that you receive, that is going to be your budget. If you have a fluctuating income or if it's inconsistent, take an estimate, an average of what you made last year and put that here. And then it's the same for the expenses. Total up how much you paid for your cable last year, how much you paid for your mortgage, your cell phone, gas, electricity, any expense that you have here, your credit card bill, your car note, any expense that you have here, total up what you spent for the year. Now I know it could be a little overwhelming, girl. I know. When I look to see how much we paid AT&T for the year of 2019, it really angers me to say the least. But it's good to see it because then you know, okay, well, I'm spending too much money on cable. I'm spending too much money on groceries. I've got to do something about it. I know when I looked at our grocery budget, I was like, you know what? We can cut back tremendously. And that's why we're doing these money savings challenges each month. So you're going to do the same thing, put a budget here, and then each month you're going to start filling in your actuals each month. Okay, until you come to the total and you can compare your total with your budget and see how it compares. This kind of data that you give yourself really helps you to make financial goals for the future. It really helps you to prepare for the future. It helps you to understand your money a lot better than when you're in the budget and you're looking at every dime. When you take a 30,000 foot look at your expenses and your income, it helps you to, you know, push yourself a little bit better to get better in certain areas and to also applaud yourself in certain areas. Like, hey, you didn't expect to make a certain amount of money, but you did. That's something to be really proud about. So I think it's great that to track your annual budget for those reasons. Again, if it's too overwhelming for you to do it by the month, you can totally do it by paycheck. You can put your paycheck date here and you can say you get paycheck 1 on 1/1 and the budget is 500, and let's say you actually get 450, that is a $50 difference. Then you would write what expenses you plan on paying with this one paycheck, so that it totals what you actually spent. You know, of course, your expenses will total your budget for the budget line, but then what you actually spend, whether it be more or less, you want to list this here. If you're spending more than what you're actually making, then you know you have a problem and you have to adjust something somehow to fix that problem, because we definitely don't want to be in the red. But that is how you would budget paycheck by paycheck. And then really the most important part is this reconciliation here, so that you'll know, okay, well, my income is less than my expenses. I need to do something about it. I need to cut something out. I need to downsize. I need to, even if you need to sell your car, sis, you gotta do what you gotta do to make your expenses equal to or at least less than your income. Okay, so that we can start saving and securing the bag. Hashtag save and secure the bag, girl. Okay, so that is pretty much a budgeting in a nutshell. I hope this helps you guys. I really do. And again, if you're interested in purchasing my budgeting bundle printables, the link for that is in the description box. But at the end of the day, you do not have to purchase these to do this for yourself, as long as you create some sort of budget. Okay, that is the name of the game. And in the next video, we'll be talking about cash envelopes for beginners, how we can start using those, and I cannot wait to discuss that with you guys. Leave a comment down below and let me know, what kind of budget do you do? Hopefully it's a zero-based budget. To me, that's the best kind there is. And what's your method? Do you use Excel? Do you use Apple Sheets? Do you use pen and paper? Like, what do you do? Leave a comment down below and let's discuss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, you can tap my picture on the screen, and you can also check out my previous video right next to it, and all of my social media platforms all listed down below. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.